Hey there, Mr. Shea's English class. I'm Chris
Hello,
Auray,
I'm Scott Ball.
and today we're going to talk to you about the fascinating tale,
A
Sir
man
Thomas
for
More,
all seasons.
Man for All Seasons, by the man himself, Robert Bolt. Now, Scott, tell me a few of the themes of this scintillating book.
Well, Chris, some of the themes include corruption. You have
Morality.
morality. You really should have written a list or something,
I know, right?
because I don't really know them. I wasn't listening.
Okay. Well, anyway, we're going to discuss this book to you, bring in a few comical elements here and there, try to keep it interesting, and pretty much prove to you guys that both of us read this tale of tragedy.
Don't forget, keep it real.
Gotta keep it real. So, first thing we're going to talk about was Sir Thomas More cheap, you think, when he ripped off the boatman? He didn't rip him off, really. He just kind of refused to pay him more than the boatman needed or wanted.
You know, Chris, there's a different aspect of that people don't usually consider. Is that when Thomas More comes in, and he just wants to go home. He's tired and everything, and you know this boatman is just trying to get a few bucks out of him just so that he can just go on his merry way. And then you get
Squeeze him dry. Squeeze him dry.
you know, and just Thomas Cromwell just comes in, and he's just really strict about the laws of the boating license, and
Well,
it really
let's
comes out of
kind of
nowhere.
be real. What does that have to do with my question? Absolutely nothing. The thing is, I'm going to continue with this. That I think it, was kind of, like I said, what Thomas More paid the boatman was pretty fair, I suppose. I mean, I think he probably should have been a little bit more generous. I mean,
There's
as
a lot
the
of
guy
money.
said,
Yeah, a lot of money to
his wife has been losing her luster.
a lot of money to maintain the boat.
Letting herself go. I mean,
You
I
gotta
totally,
row the boat up the river, then you gotta row it down the
I
river.
know. Guy's a tough
Jeez.
life, you know.
It's also 1 o'clock in the
He's got
morning.
a few kids, 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I would throw him a few extra bucks, wouldn't you?
Tip is reasonable
Absolutely.
in that case.
Absolutely. Well, that's the first aspect we would like to talk to you about. The second one we'd like to talk to you about was, do you think that Thomas More was selfish in not signing the Act of Supremacy or Succession and keeping himself in prison while his family suffered from poverty and sadness outside?
I know in his mind, he really thought that he was doing the right thing, sticking up for his religion, just standing his ground in all terms, just not even giving in to anything, just a real true Catholic man in all forms. However, yes, I guess you could consider him selfish due to the fact that he actually just sacrificed himself for his beliefs, even though he had a family in need. He had just resigned, which was his entire source of income. So they were just left with nothing. Just left him on the side of the street. So it's really a selfish move by him.
Well, I personally think this man is one of the best Catholics that's ever walked the face of the earth besides Jesus Christ, but he was technically Jewish. So. But what I would think that Sir Thomas More should have helped his family out a little bit more. Maybe kind of pulled the strings, the English government, the best he could, but not completely leave his family out of the cold like he did. I mean, burning bracken to keep cold, or to keep warm, excuse me, they were left in the cold. But, and not knowing where their next meal is, I feel it's kind of harsh. So I feel that although his beliefs were especially strong and very admirable, felt that he should have done more to protect his family before this whole prison sentence thing came in, and that his family should have been better off while he was in jail.
Yeah, you know just how his daughter Meg said, just God counts the word of the heart more than the word of the mouth. So if he just truly
Absolutely.
did not believe it, and it was in a case to save his family's dignity and keep them off the streets, I think that it would have been worth his while maybe just to sign it and not believe it or petition against it, but really leaving his family in the dust was not in his intention, obviously, but it ended up being the consequence of his actions
Absolutely.
and decisions.
100% agree. Well, what do you want to talk about next? There are so many elements of this book to talk about.
They truly are
Scintillating. Scintillating.
very complex book.
Let's
a
talk
lot
about...
of things going on.
No, of course. Let's talk about Richard Rich. What do you think of his character in the book?
You know, he really played that offense player. He was more of a go-getter, you know, just hungry for position.
Oh, yeah.
He just really couldn't think enough for the consequences of other people for his actions. And he actually, due to his ambition, ended up worming his way out of the friendships of many people. Just like an example, Thomas More, when he petitioned against him under the instruction of the king to make it a fair trial.
Well, my personal opinion on Richard Rich, the Attorney General of Wales, is that he is quite a, he is definitely a go-getter,
Oh,
but
definitely.
I definitely feel he's a backstabber, kind of a weasel, very, very power-hungry and greedy. The fact that he would commit perjury against Sir Thomas More in order to further his advancement in the English hierarchy is quite disgusting. And I think that he himself plays a major role in the death of Sir Thomas More. I feel they'd have a very difficult time convicting Sir Thomas More of the crime of high treason if Richard Rich did not prosecute against him in the trial.
He shouldn't have just taken the job as a teacher and been done with it. Lived a
Absolutely.
nice quiet life.
Nice quiet life.
He would have been well esteemed by his students,
Well esteemed by his students.
he just couldn't take it.
Couldn't take it.
He had to be a big politician, just like Thomas More, even though Thomas explained to him that he was actually forced into the position, and probably, you know, near the end might have been regretting that he wouldn't even have wanted to start into politics due to the outcome of his situation.
Well, the last aspect we'd like to talk to you in this absolutely wonderful, wonderful text is that,
It's very crisp.
very crisp, is that I want to talk to you about the role of the common man. And what did the common man play? He played a publican, a boatman,
You know, and he played the steward,
steward.
and you know, he was that. Oh, also the jailkeeper, and you know, he just really acted as just the common man. Just couldn't go out of his way for anybody else. Just trying to keep on his own little island and just keep himself safe. A clear example of this is the jailkeeper, how he would not, for anything, give Thomas More one more minute with his wife to say goodbye, even though
Only concerned about himself and his well-being.
just his own well-being. He didn't want to get in trouble, and he couldn't even have the sympathy for Thomas More, just because even though he didn't know at the time, Thomas knew that it would be the last time he would ever talk to them.
What about quitting? Also, after the first, you know, when Thomas More said that there would be less people in the house backing out on him when Sir Thomas More needed on him. I thought that was pretty selfish of him.
You know, that
about
really
drinking the
shows.
wine?
Yeah. The
Drinking.
drinking of the wine was just a really weasel move. Just it really characterizes his character beautifully by the fact that
Selfish.
Even-
Looking out
yeah,
for himself all the
goes-
time.
takes this nice sip of this fine wine, enjoys it,
Absolutely delicious.
then asked by Thomas More, how's the wine? He says, oh, I would never drink it. Just like his before Thomas lost his position and his income source, he would remind Thomas that he was his loyal servant, and then as soon as the paycheck stopped coming in, just packed up and just wanted to look out for himself and just took a hike. Left that right out of there.
Alright, well, based on your thoughtful insight, I can say that you read this book and you had quite a firm understanding about it.
Back to front, front to back.
And,
thank you, Chris. Great
well,
conversation.
you're gonna say that I read it, or you're just gonna close, just get an A for yourself?
You know, I would say that you
Give
read
you
it.
the C plus, get you the A?
It's tempting, but I would say that definitely you just really showed a firm understanding of this book as well.
Well, thank you. Alright, well, we're gonna sign off here. Thank you for joining us.
Stay classy, San Diego.
That's right. Good night.